how many people India has already onboarded onto the digital platform. This is from a NSS, National Sample Survey of the Ministry of Statistics. As official as it gets, numbers in India, approximately 85.5% of households possess at least one smartphone. Around 86.3% households in India have access to internet within the household premises. And then there's more data in terms of growth of digitization. While China dominates in value, in terms of number of transactions, India processes the largest number of real-time digital transactions globally, accounting for 50% of the world's total, significantly higher than the combined volumes of US, China, and EU. So we have onboarded a lot. Otherwise, you can't be processing the maximum number of transactions in the world, accounting for 50% of transactions onboarded. So a lot has been done. We are now talking about onboarding the next 300 million. But what is the first? Is it the first 300, 200, 100? I think that question will go to Lalita. As the CEO of Beam, I guess best placed, how many have we onboarded in terms of digital payments?
I think it's over 400 million, about 400 to 450 million users have been onboarded on digital payments, Lata, so far.
And what is the pace of growth? I mean, how much was it last year, for instance, or the year before?
Should be about 12% CAGR will be the pace of growth. While I'm saying that there are more than 400 million users onboarded, there will also be people who are onboarded but not utilizing fully because of various inhibitions.
That includes the 400 million?
Yes, which we will cover during the course of the panel, I'm very sure. But yes, it includes that also.
Why don't you start from there? Okay. I'm not being partial to her because she's a woman. It's because, Beam represents NPCI, which is the organization that has laid the rails for digitalization in India and digitized payments. So over to you, Lalita. What inhibits people who have been onboarded but not using?
Okay, so I think a couple of things. One thing that we had done a survey a few months back when we were trying to relaunch the Beam app. And one of the things that came to us as a feedback was that people feel that using UPI or using a digital payment as opposed to a credit card may not give them a credit score, right? When you use a debit instrument, you don't get a credit score, right? That's one. Second, they did not know if the payment fails, be it a card payment or a UPI payment or anything else, whom do I go to? What do I do? I'm supposed to raise a dispute. I raise a dispute, and then it goes into a black box. I don't know what happens. Will I lose money? If I lose money, will I get money back? And then there are a lot of these cohorts, which are communities, right? So one bad thing happens to one person in the community, the entire community feels that, you know what, better to stay safe. Right? So there are people who've got onboarded because of a lot of interest and enthusiasm. There will be some of them who are not using it, which is also a part of this 490 million. And that is our endeavor to solve this. We also have a set of people like aged parents of all of ours who want to use, who consume a lot of digital content. All of them are available on internet and WhatsApp and do a lot of voice videos and audios. But they feel that this is probably alien to them. So there are multiple cohorts, and these are the people who have onboarded but not used. Okay,
actually, you're already giving us, the obstacles to the next 300 million in what you've said. But let me come to that, Mr. Lakshmi Narayan. To onboard, we have reached, what, 400, 490, she said. For the next 300, what would occur to you as the first problem of onboarding?
I think I was asking the question, why do we want to onboard the next 300?
Okay. Well, if you want to give yourself that question, then go ahead.
No, I suppose there are answers to that, but I won't. But I think, what has got us to the first 400 will not get us to the next 300. And it reminds me of, I think it requires a full rethinking of the business model. The stakeholders in the system today, the banks, the merchants, the customers, what's in it for them in the rural area to onboard into this is not very clear. Banks are already straining with the incentives taken away from them. They just have to invest more and more infrastructure. And you add 300 million more, their cost is going to go up. with
So one disincentive for banks is clear.
Yeah, and for the merchants, clearly, they don't see any incentives on accepting digital transactions because they're happy with the cash. Their inventory turn is much faster if they had the cash on hand rather than waiting for settlements and some of the issues that Lalita talked about if refunds don't happen. And similarly for the customers as well. There is no incentive for them. Credit scoring is one of them. But really, there is no incentive for them to move to the digital platform. So I think that's the set of three things. I think it's the business model itself needs to be rethought. And I don't think, as I said, what got us to the first 400 will not get us to the next 300.
Well, you took away my next question, which was what will incentivize? But we will come to that. We have to look at positive steps that can incentivize. Let me look at the problems. Mr. Gaur, I think Paytm did a great job of cracking even the first 400. In terms of, unlike NPCI, which did not have to make money, you had to make money. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. So something incentivized you to the first 400. If you can tell us what are the problems you face, therefore.
So the business model is very clear for at least to fintechs and other companies like Paytm. You get a customer because if you look into the customer or the merchant ecosystem, everybody is collecting money. If he takes money in cash, we don't know what is his earning. Why digitalization is important for the India is because if we have to look for 1 trillion economy or digital economy, we have to have at least 500, 600 million active users. And once we know that what is the pattern of his earning, there is a business model of financing over it. Because today, there are a lot of people who earn good amount of money, but if they are the need of some kind of financing, they go to an unstructured way of financing, which is actually not giving him good returns in terms of the capital or the interest which he gives. Second is how we do it. So one of the important factor which we have seen, because if we talk about Paytm, we have close to 35 million merchants. And we have merchants in close to 1,200 plus cities, which is way, way deeper. And thanks to the NPCI and RBI, the digital...
Can you repeat the numbers you have?
We have close to 1,200 cities where we have merchants who are accepting payments every month on month. And we have devices which will help us because if we have to onboard merchants or customers in deep rural or tier 3, it has to be the vernacular. It can't go with English. It can't only be text-based. It has to be voice-based. So where the efforts, the AI, we had a beautiful session on AI previous to us. AI will help us immensely in cutting the cost of operations at least for fintech and banks, because earlier developing an app in a vernacular language was very difficult. But now with the help of AI, it is very easy to launch at a low cost. So I think we took around a decade to get, at least a decade to get 400 million customers.
Yes, yes.
But in next 6 to 7 years, our pace of getting 300 million can be achieved because of the technology which is available today.
Okay. You spoke about getting into your payment system, people who were hitherto using cash. Would you say Paytm has covered almost everyone who uses cash? Because there the problem is different. Where you have cash, you have an incentive to join. What Mr. Lakshminarayan is pointing out to that part of people who really are not even that helpful for banks because they are not doing much transaction. They are economically in a different category. Would you say you have covered everyone who is good in cash?
No. I think there is, at least on the merchant side, which I represent in Paytm, there are close to like 60 million merchants in India, which we feel with the surveys and whatever study we do, and we are close to like 35 million. So it is still a very long journey. If you go to a tier 3, tier 4 city, you will hardly see 8 to 10% of shops having QR. So that journey is still far. And once the people come on the digital ecosystem, they realize that their earning is recorded. If their earning is recorded, especially on the merchant side, they have that tomorrow if I need a capital for my business or to expand my business, I can show that. The problem with in tier 3 and tier 4 cities is they may be earning good amount of money. They're actually more richer than a service class people in the Gurgaon or a metro, but they don't have a earning, what you call the, if you
have a record.
So banks cannot lend them. So they are forced to take money from some local person, and they are just not helping the banking ecosystem also.
Yeah. So what you're saying, Mr. Gaur, is that from 35 to 60 million should be an easier ride for Paytm.
Yes, not only Paytm, but overall ecosystem, because of the technology which we have got today was not available at least even 6 months back. In AI, every quarter there is a lot of change which happens in the technology and the business models.